Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. There we go. Okay. So my name is Nicole. For those of you guys that don't know, first and foremost, welcome to Discovering Nicole. My name is Nicole Pludre, and I am a person in recovery. I got sober July 13th of 2015, and I got sober after my little boy got taken away from me by CPS. It was tragic, and it was just the thing that I needed to wake up and get my life together. So I started this YouTube channel to share my story and my experience with getting sober and hopefully be able to help other people get sober, other parents and men and women get sober. So that's what I've been doing on this account for the last 5 years. Okay. Well, I posted a video in October of 2021. And I woke up the other day and that video all of a sudden went viral. And so that is why a lot of you guys have found me, is because of that viral video. And I just want to welcome every single one of you guys here. Thank you so much for taking a chance on me and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for supporting me. Like I said, I'm just a regular girl. I am a mom. I'm 40 years old. I have a little boy. He's 8 years old. Thank you, Juno. And I fought for my son and got him back from CPS. It took me 1 year to get him back. And I was addicted to methamphetamine, opiates, Xanax, cocaine, basically anything that I could stick in a syringe. And I'm not proud of that at all, but I'm just trying to share with you guys like the truth. You know what I mean? If there's one thing that I wish I could go back and change, I wish that I could go back and get sober when I found out I was pregnant. But I didn't. And I struggled throughout my whole pregnancy. Hey, Angel, thank you. I struggled throughout my whole pregnancy. So I wanted to come on here. Hey, No Cap, what's up, babe? I wanted to come on here because I have gotten just like an overwhelming amount of people commenting on those videos, and come to find out they're kids of people who struggle with addiction commenting on the video, talking about how their parents struggle with addiction. So I thought I would come on here, and if any of you guys want to come up, as long as you're 18, you can come up and you can share. There's a link I'm putting in the chat right there. You can come up and share a little bit about your life growing up as a kid and how addiction, it impacted your life. You don't have to if you don't want to, if you don't feel comfortable. I totally understand. I just wanted to give you guys a chance to, have the floor, because, like my whole channel is really about my addiction and how I've gotten sober and me trying to help other people to get sober as well. And so I never in a million years thought that a video that I posted from a year ago would go viral like it has. It's just, honestly, I don't know what happened. It's shocking me because I posted that video in October of 2021, and all of a sudden it just like went wild. And so many of you guys, 2,000 of you guys have subscribed in the last like 48 hours. And so I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much. Like, I have been working on this channel for 5 years, and it has taken me every bit of that amount of time to get to where I'm at. And so to have a video just fly off the radar like that is like huge for me. And so I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate it. And I want you to know that I'm here to support you. And if you have a parent or loved one that's struggling with addiction and you don't have any support, I will do the best I can to try to support you. If you want me to help you find your mom or dad some resources on how to help them, I can do that. You just have to message me and let me know. But yeah, so how's everybody doing? Anybody in here having a great day? tell me about how your day's going. Also, if you're in recovery, drop your sobriety date. Let me know how long you've been sober and 2 things that you're grateful for. And I'll tell you guys some things that I'm grateful for. So honestly, I'm grateful for all of you guys because I just woke up and not all of y'all are here. And so I'm just so grateful to have y'all here. And I'm grateful for all of you guys who are actually taking a minute to watch my story and get to know who I am. When I found out that I was pregnant with my son, I remember I was very, very afraid because I had been in my active addiction for 13 years at that point, and I felt like I knew I wasn't going to be able to get sober. But I tried to get sober, and I was going back and forth, sober, relapse. And then when I had my little boy, I said, I'm never going to use again. And I can remember basically saying, like, I'm never going to get high again. And I meant that with all my heart. Like, I really wanted to not ever use again. Well, I was able to stay sober for about 90 days, and then I relapsed. And so my son's first year of being alive, I was in active addiction. And that's when he got taken away from me, was 2 days before his first birthday, which, well, honestly, it was the worst experience. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Hey, Teresa, what's up, girl? I would never wish CPS on anyone. I believe that it just makes the situation even worse, dude. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Adria? How you doing, honey? I think that, removing children from their parents just adds more trauma. And I wish there was a better way. Hey, Becky, what's up, girl? I wish there was a better way to help kids, parents who struggle with addiction, besides just like breaking up their home. You know what I mean? And I don't know, you guys tell me. I am the parent, so I experienced what it was like to have my son taken from me. If you're a child who has been removed from the home, I would love for you guys to share how that affected you in your life, how it made you feel. You know, I've worked so hard to get good. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. Hey, Tennille, what's up, girl? Same, Sonia, same. And so I want everybody to know that all of you guys are welcome here, and I'm just so grateful for you guys. October 28th, 2020, grateful for living amends to my children, and today extremely grateful for my sobriety. After years of relapsing, MAT therapy saved my life. Oh yeah, so I guess I could tell you guys that, because a lot of the people on YouTube, you guys, are brand new and they don't know. They just found my YouTube channel. So when I got sober in 2015, I got on a medication-assisted treatment, which is Suboxone. And I remember being so ashamed to be on it because I had always been taught that the only way to get sober was through abstinence. Hey, Adria, it doesn't show your the long comment, baby, in the chat. But like I said, if any of you guys are over the age of 18 and you want to come up and share, there is a link in the chat. All you have to do is click it. What? Yeah. Will you lower that TV? All you have to do is click that video and you can come up here actually and share. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can always email me your story and I can share it anonymously here on social media, but it's totally up to you. Socialtpro.com. There we go. So it's, oh, you guys can't see it on Facebook. Hold on a second. I got to get it for y'all. The Facebook people can't see it. And you guys, just so y'all know, if y'all just came in, so I want kids who are 18 or older who have parents who struggle with addiction. That is why I'm doing this live stream. So recently on YouTube, I had a video that got like 1.3 million views like in 2 days. And the video was a whole bunch of kids commenting on it. And I just felt like I needed to give them a chance to come and share if they want to. And so let me see if anybody wants to come and share, that is, from that group of people. And if not, then anybody can come up after that. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Matt, what's up, man?
Mom, you know what Discord is?
Yeah.
You should get that.
Okay. I used to have a Discord. So, I posted this video in October of 2021. And here's the thing, you guys, like, my parents are not in recovery. Like, my parents have never used drugs or alcohol. And so I don't know what it's like to have a parent or loved one struggling with addiction. So that's why I thought it could be good if I allowed you guys who want to come up and share a little bit about how addiction affected you and your family. Because to me, children are the ultimate, get the ultimate brunt of the addiction. Do you know what I'm saying? And it affects you guys the most, more than anybody, is the children. It hurts you the most. So ever since I was little, my father was a drug addict. So I think that's why I have this problem. How old are you? And what are you addicted to, honey? I commented on one of your videos and some guy said I had low self-esteem because Teresa, girl, I'll tell you this, over on Reels, comment at your own risk, girl. Them Reels folks are brutal here on Facebook. If that ever happens to you, you could tag me and at me so I can come over there and like delete the comment. But they tear me apart in the comment section, girl. I mean, they troll me up and down Facebook. And it's bad. It's scary, honey. But just tag me in it and I'll take care of it, okay? And I'm really sorry that happened, like, for real. I hate that. I hate how people are just so nasty. Like, that's not what I'm about at all. I want people to know that they can come here and hang out with us. You don't have to worry about anybody judging you. You don't have to worry about anybody looking down on you. Like, I've been there. I will never judge you. So what I'm going to do, I guess, to get you guys all comfortable over here on YouTube is I'm just going to share a little bit about me. And as you guys come in, see that link I just dropped in the chat? If you want to come up here and share, click that link and I'll bring you up. So I am a drug addict, okay? And I got sober in July of 2015. I started using drugs when I was a teenager. I was actually, I went to Lake Hamilton High School and I was about 16 and a half years old when I first tried stimulants. I was really insecure about my weight as a teenager. And so I talked my mom into taking me to see our family doctor. And I somehow was able to get our family doctor to prescribe me a medication called Adipex. That's basically amphetamines. And that made me feel like $1,000,000 because I lost weight really fast and it made me have energy and I could focus more. And I just really, really felt like that was the answer, you know? Well, I could only get that medication for like 1 or 2 months because you can't take it permanently. So after that, I was kind of like left back to where I started, you know, like, oh man, now I'm back to where I started. I don't feel good. I hate myself. I'm insecure. I don't feel beautiful and all that kind of stuff. So by the time I hit my junior year in high school, I started to experiment with marijuana and drinking alcohol with my friends in high school. Now, you know, you would think that just smoking and drinking is really not going to cause that big of a deal, right? Well, honey, let me just tell you something. For me, smoking and drinking, like, basically opened me up to having, like, not caring, not being afraid to try drugs. Just Barker says, my mom smoked cigarettes her whole life and struggles with hoarding as well. I've never been addicted to anything like nicotine. I quit smoking for a time, but just can't bring myself to quit. Smoking cigarettes is very hard to quit. You know how I quit smoking? It's so crazy. I quit all my addictions.
I know what you're saying.
How? I quit smoking because my little boy. So my son was about 2 or 3 years old, and we were
like 5.
No, you were about 2 or 3, 4 maybe. We were outside in the garage, and my son picked a cigarette butt off the ground, and he goes, "Look, Mom, I'm smoking." And I started crying my eyes out. So I got every single cigarette butt, all the cigarettes, and I threw them all away, got rid of all of them. And I told my husband, do not buy me any more cigarettes. And that is the day that I quit smoking cigarettes. Heather says, this is a great idea. Wish my significant other was old enough, or wish my son was old enough to say how it affected him. He was the one who found me overdosed March 28th of 2020. I'm so proud of you for getting sober, girl. I've never been a judgmental person by nature. It's one of my better attributes. Heck yeah. I started with weed at 12 and was banging at 15. So yeah, that's what happened to me. So I'm not saying that a lot of people get mad when I say like marijuana is a gateway drug. But for me, it allowed me to be not care. It allowed me to not be afraid to try drugs and alcohol. So I was drinking and I was smoking and it made me feel good. So you got to think about it. I was 17 years old, and I don't know if you guys know this, but like when you're a kid, when you're 17 years old and you are insecure and you have low self-esteem and you don't feel like you can talk to anybody, like it's easy to pick up drugs and alcohol and make you feel different, make you feel better. Hey, Sunny, thank you for being here, baby. Tammy says, hi, Nicole, this is Tammy. I'm driving right now, but I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about medically assisted treatment. I've used for 32 years and I've been clean. It'll be 3 years in January. However, the whole time I have been on 600 milligrams twice a day of gabapentin, 50 milligrams 3 times a day of tramadol, one in the morning, one in the noon, and one at night. I recently weaned myself up a little bit, and the anxiety and just overwhelming feelings of dread came over me. And so I've just went back to, I can't see all of it. Crap. So tramadol and gabapentin. So what's your question? Are you asking me if I think you should get on like medication assisted treatment? So I'll tell you this, Tammy, like tramadol, more and more people are becoming addicted to tramadol. And also, when you overtake tramadol, you can have a seizure. That happened to my husband many, many times. And so I'm not a doctor and I'm not a therapist or a counselor, but I'll tell you this. Utilizing medication assisted treatment saved my life. I was trying to get off of opiates for 10 years unsuccessfully. And when I went into treatment and came out of treatment, I was completely off of everything. And the way they told me was this: if you relapse again, we're going to take your child. And so I knew that I had to do something different. I knew I had to do something different than what I had done for 10 years. And so that's when I decided to get on medication assisted treatment. And it was the best decision I ever made. Now, if you're wanting to know how to get off tramadol, you need to talk to your doctor about a taper plan. So a lot of the times when we are using drugs and alcohol, especially like pills that are prescribed to us, like we just want to be done with it right away. We want instant gratification. And so, but you got to think about this. When you've been on a medication that's prescribed to you for so long, jumping off of it cold turkey could be detrimental. It could cause you harm. It could make it to where you can't work or take care of your kids. And so instead, what I would do if I was you is I would let my doctor know that I want to come off of these medications. And then I would ask him if he could help me with a taper plan that would take me down low and slow to where basically you could just walk off of it safely. You know what I mean? I hope that helps. My dad tried to guilt trip me into smoking weed. Sonny, did you not do it? I'm proud of you if you didn't do it. Parents were never not toxic. One parent is the narcissist BPD while the other plays the victim. Both are alcoholics and selfish and shouldn't have been parents. Cassie, I'm so sorry, man. See this? I knew there was going to be some of you guys who came in who were upset. So I want everybody to know that there are going to be some people that come in who are not addicts, but they are the children of addicts. And please, those of you guys that are in here, I want you to remember that when we were in our active addiction, if you had kids, like think about the harm and the and what we put our children through. Even though we weren't trying to do that purposely, we put our children through a lot. So try to read the comments that you see from these people with understanding and be kind. And if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all, you know? I started to go down the drug path, but saw how they chose substances over people and just used cannabis. Well, Cassie, I'm glad that you didn't go down that path because, baby, it ain't no path that you want to go down. And I will tell you this. Um, Whenever I was using drugs, hold on, Sonny, I'm about to bring you on, okay? I never thought in my mind, I want to use drugs over my son or I don't love my son. That thought never crossed my mind. But I did. I did use drugs over my son. And I wish I could go back and change that. I really, really do. If there was one thing that I could change in my life, that's the one thing I would change. Everything else, I am completely okay with that, you know? So I hope that helps you maybe understand that. I don't think your parents, were even actively thinking that when they did that. I think, that they're just really sick. But I understand you being upset with them. And I want you to know that you can be here and you can comment that, and we're not going to get upset with you. You are absolutely entitled to having those feelings. Okay, Sonny, what's up, baby? Oh, she laughed. Sorry, guys, I got a little emotional there.
Are you about to end in a minute?
No, I'm not. I have a question for anyone that can answer it. If you have to have open heart surgery and you take Suboxone, what do they do about your pain? So what they'll do is they'll have you stop taking your medication, Julie, about 3 or 4 days before you go into surgery. And then they'll use the correct pain medication that they need to on you during surgery. Then when you come out of surgery, they will either have you continue the pain medication that they use during surgery, or they'll discontinue that and then wait until that medication leaves and then put you back on your Suboxone. How can I get my dad off of weed and alcohol? Oh, here's Sunny. Sunny, are you ready, baby? I'm going to bring you on. Okay, baby. You ready? And go ahead and unmute yourself because your mic's muted. Okay, you got the floor.
So my dad tried forcing me into smoking and drinking at a very, very young age. And I have a very traumatizing past. And I have a few questions about, how can I help get my dad off of smoking weed and drinking so much?
Okay, so I want you to, okay, so we can't make anybody get off of anything, right? So we all have our own free will, okay? But I can tell you this, if your dad wants to get off of alcohol and smoking and he just doesn't know how, then I have lots of resources that we can help him so he can get support from other people and other guys that are in recovery, because I know that's what helps me and my husband a lot, is having other people who are sober longer than we have been to help support us. And almost like have you ever thought it like a mentor or a sponsor or an accountability partner? Now, luckily with weed, he can discontinue, taking weed and he should be okay. As far as the alcohol, though, that would, if he's drinking like a lot, he would need to go into a medical detox. So that way he can safely get off alcohol without hurting himself, because alcohol causes physical dependence.
Yeah.
Do you think that he wants to get better, or is he just kind of doesn't care?
He wants to get better, but he doesn't know how.
Okay, that's awesome. Then that means there's hope. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know how to get a hold of me. I can get you all kinds of resources for your dad. Whatever state you're in, I can hook you up. And then I can send you links to all kinds of different groups that he can join. That's huge. Like the fact that he's willing to want to change, that is like a big deal, because a lot of the times when people come to me and reach out, they're not ready. They don't want to change. So that's really awesome. Tell me something else. How are you doing? How have you been able to cope with your parents struggling with addiction? How has that affected your life?
Um, when I was younger, my dad didn't really pay attention to me and my siblings, and he wouldn't really care because he was really, really far, like, lost. Like, all hope was lost when I was little, but he slowly started to stop. And, like, well, I live with my mom and my stepdad in a stable area,
That's
and
good.
then my stepmom and my dad live together with my younger siblings, and I don't know what's happening over there. And whenever I go over to his house, I make sure that I protect them at all costs and all that.
You, baby, it makes me so upset. Like when I was hearing and reading some of you guys' comments, I wish that I could tell you this. You shouldn't have to worry about protecting your siblings. You know, you should be able to go into a home where you feel safe and you don't have to worry about any of that. But since that is happening, have you ever talked to your mom about maybe is there any way that your mom can get all of your siblings over at the house where everything is stable, or is that not possible?
It's not possible. She doesn't have any custody over them.
Okay. Okay, I understand. And then I imagine that you get worried because you don't want to say anything, and then CPS or something like that come in and do something like that, right?
Yeah.
I understand. I've been through that, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So,
My
you go ahead.
in the comment section of one of your videos,
Uh-huh.
like I said, my 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 mom and my oldest sister's mom are trying to team up on a and to get a lawyer so I can have me and her can have chosen custody. And if she called CPS on him, the kids would go to my papa to live, and then they wouldn't be able to see daddy and all that.
Yeah. No, I think what your mom is doing is the right thing to do because um that way you guys can, like you said, have custody to where you can see your brothers and sisters, and it doesn't get to where it just becomes messy whenever you involve CPS. So I'm so glad that you have like a stable parent like in your mom, so that way you are safe and you guys can help your other brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Do you know that I want you to know that, and I know I don't know your parents personally and I don't know you personally, but I really want you to understand that I promise you that your dad, I don't want you to ever think that his addiction is because of you or your brothers and sisters, because it's not. It has nothing to do with any of you, and it has everything to do with us in the inside. When we start using drugs and alcohol, we are sick on the inside. We are trying to fill a void. We are depressed. We are anxious. And we're using drugs and alcohol to make us feel different because we're not happy with the way we feel about ourselves. But it has nothing to do with our children at all. And I hope by hearing that, that maybe gives you a little bit of relief to know that you are perfect in every way and your dad loves you, I'm sure, more than anything.
Yeah.
So tell me something good. How did you do how have you been able to do it when you were in school? Did you make good grades? Did you graduate? How did that go?
I made really good grades. I had all A's and B's and all
Wow,
that.
that's awesome. And but here's the thing, like, so even though your dad was struggling with addiction, you were able to, come out on the other side and flourish and do well in school. How were you able to do so well?
Well, I have comfort from my mom and my stepdad and my other siblings that I actually live with,
Uh-huh.
and I kind of motivate myself to bring this stuff up because I know if I don't, something bad could happen. So
With your dad having an addiction, does it make you make you not want to use drugs, or does it kind of make you curious? Um, because what I've always heard is that a lot of people who I talk to who are my age and they maybe had addicted parents, they said, well, when I was a kid, I didn't want nothing to do with drugs and alcohol because my mom and dad did it. But then once I got older, then I started, experimenting in this, that, and third. How did it affect you in that area? Because, when you're young, you want to experiment and stuff like that. So did you ever experiment, or have you just been like, heck no?
I've been always like against it because I never want to get addicted and I don't want to screw up my life and I don't want to have a bad reputation.
You're very
Like,
smart. Very smart. That's what I tell my little boy. I say, if you never try it, then you don't have to worry about getting hooked. You know what I'm saying? The moment you take it or put it in your mouth or smoke it or whatever, that's when you open yourself up to the dangers of addiction. So, damn, you're smart. Good for you. I'm proud of you, man. For real.
yeah,
For real.
most people are like they don't open up about their parents' addictions and stuff that should be brung up, and they end up getting addicted after they don't bring anything up and people don't encourage them to like bring things up about certain things. So I decided to be brave enough to bring everything up.
I really appreciate you being brave and coming up here and sharing. Um, I never in a million years thought that video from last year, because it's been up for over a year or almost a year, would blow up like that. But when it did, and I was going through reading all of you guys' comments, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It hit me like a ton of bricks because of the guilt that I feel because I used while I had my son. And then also, I felt so much like pain for all of you guys who were telling me your stories in the comment section. It's a big deal that you came up here, and I really, really appreciate you doing that. You're going to be able to help mothers and fathers who maybe they don't think that their addiction affects their children, or maybe they don't understand. Just by hearing your point of view, that's going to help somebody else to maybe not make the same mistake.
Yeah.
So I really, really appreciate it. Do you have anything else you want to tell us or talk about?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, Sunny, thank you so much for coming up here. And you can pop back on anytime you want to, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'll
Bye-bye.
talk to you later. Bye, honey. Y'all give it up for Sunny for being brave, dude. That's a big deal. Thank you so much. I didn't want to start crying while you were on here, but thank you so much for coming up and sharing. It means so much to me that you did. It means so much to me that you felt safe enough to come up here and share. Because it's a big deal. You know, my little boy was very young when I was addicted, but I still am not naive enough to think that my addiction didn't affect him. So thank you so much. And I hope that hearing Sunny's testimony, I hope that it will help some of you guys who maybe, don't understand or think that addiction doesn't affect anybody but yourself, because that's what I used to believe. I used to live in this fantasy land where I thought that my addiction only affected me and no one else. Because I can remember going around and saying, I don't know why my mom and dad are tripping, or I don't know why so and so is upset with me. My addiction doesn't affect anybody but me. I'm the one who's getting high. I'm the one who's ruining my own life. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Rob, I'm going to bring you on. So, I hope this helps you guys see from a different perspective. Oh, sorry about that. What's up, man? Hey, Rob.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, you go ahead. You got the floor.
I do.
Yep.
I have the floor.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, mine's Yeah, I've been watching Leonard a lot on that other, and he always tells me to come and see you.
I
And
love Leonard.
yeah, me too, man. He's a great guy. Now, see, I'm a bit on the older side. I'm in my 40s now, but my story's a little bit different. Gosh, I don't really have. My parents were never really drug. I'm a drug addict. Was never a drug addict. Um, Now addiction runs in my family, like with my mom. I mean, with my grandparents, just drinking. I wouldn't say drunks every day, but there's people in my family that just drank. Not really too much in the drugs. Um, Now, when I was I was a big cross country runner and track runner in high school. Okay, and I was really good. But I've always had OCD. I've always been diagnosed with OCD and ADHD, and so I was on Ritalin beginning of my life, so forth and so on. But here's the thing: I always wanted to do weed when I was real young. I was like, listening to Dr. Dre and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff back in like 1992, 93 when I was a freshman in high school. So I was always into that, getting into the chronic and stuff, but I was so young, I could never really find it. So I just got in. My dad just said, look, we got to get you into something before, you head down there. And I did all through high school. I just ran. I ran. I mean, I was a C, B kind of D kind of guy. I didn't really want to go to school, but, I eventually, got my associate's degree. I did a lot better when I went to community college. But when I turned 18 or 19 and I stopped running and I just got into lifting weights, all I did was smoke weed. I mean, smoked weed for years. I mean, we're talking like 15, 20 years. Now, I did get into like crack cocaine, but I was lucky. I got in trouble real quick and I entered like this rehab thing where it was outpatient. And in 90 days, and it's been over 20 years now. I've never done crack. I've never done it
You're lucky
again.
that's all. You're lucky
Yeah.
that's all you got caught up with crack because it
Well,
is
right,
no joke.
right. Well, I'm going to tell you the real deal. I'm going to tell you the real deal here in a minute. So all these years, smoking weed, well, I liked it or whatever. Now in the beginning, I had problems like in my family, problems with mom and my stepdad, my mom getting a divorce. And, maybe that void you're talking about that I needed to, they were gone. They moved to Japan because my stepdad was in the Navy. And I felt like, I was depressed. So I was smoking weed and drinking. I'd done ecstasy and acid. I didn't know all that stuff, but ecstasy and acid, that was a kind of party rave thing where the next day I was so down. I'm like, I'm not doing acid anymore. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm already knocked out from it, but I just kept smoking weed all the time until about when I was 38. Now weed started doing the exact opposite. Instead of like making me feel better, it started making me feel paranoid. It started making me feel anxious. So I was like, and I kept like, well, maybe I need a break. And then I'd come back and then make me feel that way again. And I was like, oh, I'm tired of smoking weed. So I quit weed, just like you said. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe 1 or 2 days I didn't eat much, but then you kind of get right. And I was like, for 90 days I didn't do nothing. I mean, the longest time I'd been since I've been 18 or something, to where I just didn't do nothing. But then I wanted to do so because I've always had a good job. I work for the city of Chesapeake in Virginia. I've always had a good job. But then, I wanted to try something that could get out of my system quickly, that I thought I could control. And
Mm-hmm.
that was a mistake. So I started, and when the opioid crisis came around, you could find heroin everywhere, more than I've ever. And I never. Well, back in those days, I never even looked or couldn't find it. Well, nowadays everybody has it. So I started snorting it, and that's all I've ever done is snort it. But man, these last 3 or 4 or 5 years with that crap has really, and I'm on Suboxone right now, so I'm totally for what you're saying. Whatever you have to do to stay away from dope, because the withdrawals from heroin are just unmanageable. I mean, they are just ridiculous. And I have a wife, I have children,
Yep.
and I have a nice house. I still have my job. I do well. I have full benefits. I cannot let this happen. This is, I was just watching you on your other page or whatever, when you were talking a while back about your whole story. And I was, what I don't know if it's my OCD, because I go to like this Right Path behavioral treatment center that keeps me on the Suboxone.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since I've like, now when I was first in the beginning of the heroin thing, the Suboxone worked really well.
Yeah.
But then I would stop after 2 or 3 months and get back on the dope. And then but now it's gotten to the point where I guess I've done it for so long that like Suboxone doesn't seem to cure the withdrawals like they used to.
Well, you're used to Suboxone because when you
Okay.
first get on it, when you first start Suboxone, it's like, wow, this is amazing. This is
It
a
is.
miracle.
Yes,
right?
it's a miracle. It's a miracle.
But then it reaches this like ceiling where you don't get that feeling anymore or that relief, right? So that's why
I still feel withdrawal off dope, even on Suboxone. Not fully. Like it does take away a lot of it, but I'm like, oh God, I'm still sweating. Oh God, you know, I'm still moving. I'm like, I don't know, but it only lasts a couple days instead of the whole week. But
right.
And I've never been like $100 to $200 a day dope hit. I've always been like what Leonard would say, a nickel and dimer. So, you know, maybe $50 at the most at a time. But it's gotten to the point, you know, where how does this? I want to stop thinking about this. You know,
I've got find your purpose.
Huh?
You need to find your purpose.
Yeah, I there has got to be something else in life. You know, I don't have any anger issues anymore. I've let all that go. I don't feel like there's this thing holding me back. I just feel bored. And I just always feel like boredom takes me to drugs. But there just can't be. I mean, this just can't be the end of me. I've, you know, I'm going to be 45 years old next year. And there's just no way I can go out like this. I have a 9-year-old. I have a 10-year-old disabled child. I have a 17-year-old stepson. I'm married. I've been with this woman. It'll be 9 years next year. This cannot happen. You know, and I just see you. I'm like, because it's just getting to the point where now, you know, I'm off of it 2 or 3 weeks and I'm starting to think about it again. And I've got to do whatever I have to do to stay sober. I can't go back down the street, and because it's so close, it's just a mile down the road. There's dope, mile down the road, and I live in a nice area. I live in nice homes. I mean, I got like a $260,000 house. I mean, come on, man, this can't be it. You know, this has got to stop. You know, this can't be.
It sounds like you're, like you said, bored. You're bored, and you
I'm
need
bored.
something that's you need something that is going to, how do I say this? Fulfill you, something that's going to make you excited about life and passionate and your drive is like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it should be, but I know that my husband like loves playing soccer, and whenever he talks about soccer, that makes him like get excited. And so I'm like, fuck it, make a soccer team for Nate and start being the coach of it and like doing all this cool stuff like that to help fulfill him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because my doctor says that I'm a reward type of guy where other people live life on life's terms and they can just do it, where if I'm going to go to work, I need a reward. I need a reward. They say, the doctor says that I need a reward almost for everything. Like I've got to get some pleasure out of everything. And that's where that drug addiction problem comes in. Like right now, I can finally pass a piss test. I finally don't have to cheat. I finally don't have to use something that I'm not supposed to use. I finally, you know, because finally now I'm making good money. And thankfully, I've been lucky enough to keep my job during this whole time that I've had like other people really fall off the wagon. Like my son, my first wife, she's just in prison now. 20-year heroin addict, shoots it up, just never gonna stop. I like getting high. She likes getting high to the death. And I feel so, her whole family has pretty much just thrown her to the wind. She looks horrible.
That's how I was.
And that's just not.
I'm not like that anymore because I found my passion and my purpose in giving back and helping others. When I tell you, like I get so much from just coming on here and listening to you guys' stories and trying to help you when you guys share with me. Like it literally saves my life every single day.
Right. I totally understand. That is beautiful. That is great. And I'm so proud of you. That is wonderful. Cause I was listening to your, it was your little boy right there. And that's but that boxing, I'm like putting up tolerance to this boxing.
You know what you should do? Have you thought about trying the Sublocade shot? getting on your Suboxone
Yeah,
and then
getting
getting the shot.
getting the shot, right? Right.
Yeah,
For 30,
yeah,
and it's in your system for 30 days, right?
yes,
Right?
yes.
Yeah. 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 I see. I've got to get to that point. I seem to like, they keep like, oh, we do another month or whatever. I'm like, no, it's been 30 days. I need it now. There's no more playing. Give me the shot. It's like they want to keep long. Okay, let's do another week. And blah. I was like, man, just give me the shot. I don't want to think about dope no more. I don't
You're
want
like
anything.
911 status. Like, I don't know why they haven't given you the shot, because you are frisky. You need something that's going to help you to stay on track, so that way you don't go out and relapse and die.
Yeah, I mean, this is
You know what I'm
ridiculous,
saying?
man. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want anything going on my nose. I'm tired of my nose being clogged. I'm tired of the withdrawals. I'm tired of not being able to use the bathroom for like weeks on end. That dope shit is just, I mean, whoever, I know the story about how it was made, but man, that was a mess up, man. I mean, that it's just so addicting. And I like the taste of it. I like it going down my throat. And my sister's like, yeah, that's the addiction. I'm like, oh, wow, this has got to end. This can't be the end of me. I mean, I've got too much to lose. I've got way too much to lose, and I can't be out on the streets. And I mean, I haven't got to that point, but just going through the withdrawals are just insane. I mean, that's the rest of your life being sick. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy going through, because you're right. You can only deal with so much. Your tolerance is going to build to the point where, okay, that $50 is going to turn to 100. It will become unaffordable, unmanageable, and you're going to be sick every day. And that shit is just insane, man. The sickness is insane. I
It's
mean,
horrible.
you're deathly ill, man. I mean, I tell everybody, you haven't been sick until you've been dope sick. I mean, gee, many Christmas. I mean, the flu, everybody says it's 10 times. I can't even count the flu, man. It's a whole different experience. It's just ridiculous.
Well,
I
Rob,
mean, all the
you're very intelligent, and you know that something's going down, and that you
oh
need
yeah,
to do something different. You
it's
know what I
got to
mean?
be
Like,
stopped.
you know it.
It's got to be stopped. I don't care if I need to talk to a sponsor every single day. I've got wife, I've got kids, I've got a good job. I work for the government. This cannot occur. This has got to stop. I have to stay alive for my family, for my kids. I mean, Jesus,
Do
God,
it
that's what I
then. You
want.
need to go to the Suboxone doctor. Like, if you need help, I will help you. Like, maybe Dr. B or somebody can maybe help you to call in to talk to your doctor. And maybe if you need somebody to talk to them and say, hey, like, he really doesn't need to just be put off 1 month more, because if he doesn't get this shot, then he is going to die, because he's going to slip, and then you're going to
I
get
mean,
over it.
because my brain somehow just one thought, like, oh, you can control it, Rob, this time. No, that I'm tired of thinking that way. Obviously, I can't. Obviously, if I could, I would have by now. 3 or 4 years now, messing around with this mess. The sickness is out of hand. No, I cannot control it. Absolutely not. It is way too strong of a drug. It really rewires your brain, or whatever it's doing to my receptors, this dopamine crap. I'm just sick of it. I just want to be normal. I just want to stop thinking about it. I don't want to think about dope anymore. I just have to watch your program just so I don't, so I can think. And the triggers, getting paid is a trigger. I mean, my God, the triggers are just horrendous. I mean, there's everywhere I go, there's a trigger. I'm like, wow.
You can overcome that, though. I promise you, because I have to give my dog insulin shots now. And I used to, when I would hold a syringe, I would literally shake because I couldn't even hold it in my hand. And now I can give my dog a shot. So you can overcome it. I know you can.
Yeah, my dad died of type 1 diabetes, so I know all about the insulin thing. So about 20 years ago. So I thank you so much for talking to me and everything. I'm just really trying to I've just got to conquer this thing. And I just want this question for you. I mean, at your point in your recovery now, for being this many years off, do you think about getting high anymore?
Sure I do.
You still think about it?
Hell yeah.
So you have to fight it for the rest of your life?
I wouldn't say that it's a fight. So let me explain it to you. Like, when I think about using, it's because of like something like my weight will trigger it. I'll have a fleeting thought that will say, Nicole, if you just shot some meth, you would lose 20 pounds in 2 days. You know what I mean? Wow. Like they're just fast little thoughts. But you see what my life, and I don't want this to happen to you with your children. I lost my son to CPS for a year, and that was so detrimental to me. And I will never forget that, the pain of handing my 1-year-old baby over to a stranger, that I use that as a deterrent to not go back down that road. Like, that helps me so much to not go back. But like, I don't obsess over wanting to get high, but there's, like I said, there's times where I think about it, but then I think about what would happen if I was doing that. And I don't play with myself. I know that if I got high one time, I would absolutely lose control.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I can't even play.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And here's the thing, like with dope with me, that's one other thing I wanted to say is that I'm not over there like, oh, I'm all like, no, it like gave me like Superman energy. I was super dad. I was just like, oh man, I could get everything done for my wife. I can get everything done for everybody, blam, blam, blam. And it only, worked for a couple of weeks. And like the doctor said it would, like, oh yeah, heroin will fix your problem in the beginning, but the price you're going to pay for it is going to be major and way worse than what you got out of it. And it sure is. I get knocked out of work for a couple days, and where the only thing that's saving me is the Suboxone. If not, I would have lost my my job by now, because I would have had to been out week here, week there, week this. And my wife just been like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you always so sick? It messes
You
up
need
your
to get into
sexual life.
therapy. You need to be in therapy with somebody you can talk to that you trust, and you need another dude who's been sober longer than you have to like that you can click up with, and y'all can do things together that are sober dude stuff, and basically somebody to walk you through the first year of you staying off of dope. You know what I mean?
Right. Like to learn how to live sober.
It's hard to learn how to live sober, because I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, and then I just got tired of the weed. So, and being sober for 90 days, I like, oh, this is boring. Life's boring. It's the same old this, that. And then I was stupid and made a mistake. And I was like, oh, I can control this. This gets out of your system in 3 days, blah, blah, blah. Oh man, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Wow. That was
Listen
a
to me.
bad mistake.
I have the same thoughts, but you know what? I'm a mother now. This is what my life is about. I did my heyday. I had my time to shine. Now it's about my son and putting all my life into making sure he has the best chance at life. And that's what I do. When I think, oh shit, my life sucks. It's so boring, because fuck, compared to what it used to be, it is. But that doesn't matter, because it's all about my boy and making sure that he has the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
That helps me a lot.
I agree. And I have my son too, and if I lost him, man, it would be devastating. I don't know if I could go on. That would be really rough. That would tear me to pieces. I don't know if I lost my wife, and I don't, man, it would be bad. So so I need to find a sponsor. Need to find someone that is a sober guy, sober longer than me, can teach me how to live again sober every single day.
Yep. Yeah.
And I just have to keep fighting, because now it's been an hour. The Suboxone's got to have kicked in by now. So, I've got to just keep doing this every day. And every time I think about it, it just, I just, like Leonard says, I got to think about the bad times and how it made me feel, and the pain I keep going through with this withdrawal crap. I just can't do it. I can't do this pain anymore, because I knew in the beginning, I'd go through withdrawal, I'd never throw up. It's gotten to the point now that withdrawals are throwing up, crapping on yourself, and then the Suboxone's like barely working. If there's any fentanyl in that dope, it barely is going to work whatsoever. You might go 3 days of straight up hell before Suboxone ever works. Whereas before, Suboxone worked within an hour. Bam! Like, whoa, this is a miracle. I'm great. I'm fine. I'm not even thinking about it no more. But I don't know what's happened now. It just seems like, my brain still thinks about it, even with the Suboxone in me, and that's scary.
It's this powerful fentanyl that they're mixing in with it's like, there's all kinds of new fentanyls, analogs that they're putting in it.
Yeah, it's so powerful. Sometimes I think that the doctors of the law don't know what they're dealing with out here, man. It's almost like like, what would you say, like a drug for war or something, like to take out a country or something. Let's just get the whole country addicted, and then we can just take them down. It's like, wow, what does it come to? It's got to stop, though. I never had such issues younger, and I'm too old now to be getting involved with something like this. It's just got to stop. You know,
you can
Nicole.
do it, man. Like, listen to me. You gotta tell yourself, I'm going to overcome this. I'm not going to let drugs take me down. I'm going to kick ass and take names. I'm going to be the best dad, the best husband, the best worker. You got to tell yourself, and just keep on telling yourself that, because that negativity, when it slips in, it will take over everything and it will knock everything out. You know what I mean?
It's
So you
true.
got to tell yourself,
it's true.
I got this. I can do this.
I agree, Nicole. I agree. It's true. It's true. I really, really appreciate you talking to me, Nicole. Anytime you're on, I'm gonna try to get on and talk to you as much as I can. Okay. I really appreciate you seeing me.
Okay, man. Thank you for coming
Yep.
up. I love you. You're
Yep.
going to be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I love you too. Thanks, Nicole. I'll talk to you soon. Okay. God bless.
God bless you too. Okay, Cece, I see you, girl. I'm bringing you up. Hey, girl, what's up?
Hey, not much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool. I'm at work, just checking in.
So you still taking your medication?
I am. I'm battling with it though. Bad, hardcore. Like, I feel like it's kind of some of my old self-medicating things. But like I said on the chat, like I'm struggling with some of the side effects.
Okay.
Like,
What? Tell me what side effects you're struggling with.
severe migraines, nausea to the point of throwing up, and dizziness.
Have you
And
talked
like,
to your
so
doctor
then,
about that? You need to tell your doctor that, okay? Because like I did have migraines, but I was swallowing my spit. So I started spitting the spit, and then the migraines went away. But you need to talk to your doctor about that, because that doesn't sound good.
well, and like the thing is with it, is I have been. That's why they originally had me on the tablets. They took me off the tablets because I was throwing up nonstop from it, and so they started me on the strips, and then the strips started working pretty well. But then like I'd have a time where like what I'm struggling most with is like staying consistently on it, because like once I can get past it for like 5 days, I'm okay. But then if I miss a day, it's
That's
hell.
what it is, Cece. You can't listen to me. You cannot miss days. So when you miss days, the medication leaves your system, and then you're reintroducing it to your system, and that's what's making you nauseated and all that, because it's a strong medication to be taking after you haven't taken it for a while. Do you know what I mean? And so it's knocking
Well,
you on your ass.
yeah. The problem I was having is I was working overnights, and I cannot take it when I'm awake. I have to take it when I'm asleep because of the side effects that I have. Now I'm waking up with migraines. That sucks. But like, so like, the problem I was having is like, okay, I can't take it for during the day, so I have to wait till I'm actually sleeping, and then all of a sudden I'm missing doses. And then I'm like, all right, well, screw it. I'm just gonna get off of it, period. Because I'm sick of this roller coaster. But then I'm like thinking about wanting to get high, like having people offer stuff to me, and that's not good. I quit the second job finally, but I just like I don't know what to do, because there are great benefits. Like I've got almost 15 months, as you know. It saved my butt, but then I also have some negative Nancy's in my life, as you know, saying, well, that's basically just legal heroin. You're just getting high on something else, things like that. I told you never to take it. Now you're on it for life. And
What about the shot? What about the Supplicate shot?
I tried to talk to my doctor about that. They said I was on too low of a dose.
How much are you on?
8 milligrams.
No, I don't know why they told you that, because there's a 100 milligram shot and a 300 milligram shot. You need to be on at least 8 milligrams to get the shot. So I would totally talk to them again, or find another doctor, because if you're struggling with people judging you and all that, and not being able to take it like you're supposed to every day, right? You transition to the shot that knocks out. You don't have to worry about missing your doses. And also, you don't have to be worried about people telling you ain't in recovery, because they're not going to fucking know.
Yeah, right. I just, like lately it's just been kind of rough. Dealing with life on life's terms is kind of got me back into like, I'm not going to go back out. I've even had it offered and I'm not going to, which is a powerful thing to have now that I can actually say no, I don't need it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I've been noticing like a dry drunk kind of thing going on. Like, I'm not using, but then some of my old behaviors, thoughts, and things like that have kind of creeped up. But I
Well,
don't
if you
know.
notice that
I'm doing
happening,
good.
that means you need to reevaluate and start getting back into what you were doing that was working. So, like, things are falling off. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the same thing I used to do with my jobs. I would let my job take precedent over my everything. And then that job, I would end up going out and getting high and losing the job. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, like I worked 90 hours in 9 days.
yeah, you can have all the hours in the world, baby girl, but if you don't stay sober, you ain't gonna keep that job.
Yeah.
You know?
But like, I'm just saying, like, I'm doing okay, not as okay as I wish I was, and it made me cry bringing that stuff up, that having that young adult or child talking up there.
Me too.
Because like, I thought, oh, I'm hiding it. I'm just disappearing, so she don't have to actually see it. She's safe with family, I'm not hurting her. But then to find out of the 8-year-old's mouth, like, I thought you didn't want me anymore because you were never home. Like, just all these other things, and some of that's starting to pop up too now.
Listen to me. I was reading all of these kids' comments, and you have no idea. I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids commenting on my YouTube video. They know. They are not dumb. They know what we're doing, and it hurts them and makes them feel like we are choosing that. You've heard them. Every person that has commented that they feel like we're choosing drugs over them. Makes me so. I mean, and I guess I did choose drugs over my son. I wasn't actively thinking, hey, I want to choose drugs over my son. And that's what I'm trying to help people to understand. But I mean, that's what I did though.
Right. And like, I would like validate it because, well, I'm not doing it at home. I'm just disappearing for days on end. I'm making sure she's safe, like, but at the same time, it was just as, well, maybe not just as bad, but it was enough to traumatize her, like, I'd be there when she went to bed and I wouldn't be when she got up, and, staying with family a lot. And, like, I'm grateful I have this second chance, but
you've come such a long way in a year, girl. Okay, Nick's in the chat too, and Nick remembers you from whenever. This is the same girl, Nick, that we sent over to Florida, and then she ran away. You have come so far, Cece, in a year. Okay, like, I don't want you to fall off, man. I don't want you to fall off. Like, if you're struggling, you have to. A closed mouth don't get fed. If you are struggling with taking your medication as prescribed, you're struggling with side effects, you need to get in that doctor and you need to let them know, this is what's going on. I need help. Something's got to change. You know what I mean? Because the next step is going to be down and out. You're going to go out there and it's something bad's going to happen, and I don't want to read about you in the damn obituary.
Right. We've gone too far, Nikki. Can you believe it's been almost 2 years?
No, I can't. No, I can't. That's why I'm trying to tell
in December. In December, it'll be 2 years.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you're doing it. You're doing so great. Like, don't let this be something that knocks you off. Okay. Like, if something's not working, you got to do everything you can to find something that is working. You know what I'm saying? This is your life. It's not like, oh, I can just blow this off. It's not that big of a deal. Like, this is whether you live or die.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing too. Like, and that's what's the maddening piece for me. And maybe you've dealt with this too. I don't know. Is like, I'm mentally battling myself because I do have enough time under my belt now that I know I can say no. And I know that I don't need it. But then there's also the other part of me that's like, I don't freaking want to feed. I'm stressed out, overwhelmed. I'm alone in most of this, Like I have some people like you, but there's a lot like I'm under constant scrutiny and getting judged for every wrong move I make. And adulting freaking sucks. And yes, there's a lot of great stuff, and so it's just like yin and yang, but it's like Jekyll and Hyde too. Like it's maddening. I know what I need, and I know what I don't need. I know if I go out, I'll be dead. But at the same time, there's just that other little.
Uh-oh, you still there, girl? I love you, Cece. You fell off. Okay. Oh, hey, what's up? Cece will be back. What's up,
Hi.
baby?
Sorry. So I think I texted you. I think I did last night. I have two stories to share. But I am not a child of an addict. Okay. But where I did suffer was my brother and my aunt.
Oh.
The aunt was the strongest, but my brother as well. And I want to share this story for one, the recovering addicts. And I say this because I was never an addict. Yes, I smoke cancer sticks. I'm sorry. I'm getting over it. I know I have thyroid cancer. I smoke cancer sticks. All right. I get it. But, I'm a hypocrite there. But one thing that I have learned is that recovering addicts, the recovery part is the hardest because most addicts deal with some sort of trauma. And when they get hit with stress all over again, it's so easy to find that quick escape. That is something that I watched growing up. So my brother, I'll share his first because he was a drug addict. Okay. My brother, I love him to death, and I'm so happy he's still alive and that he quit drugs. And man, was it a struggle, but he started at 13. We're 8 years apart. He started at 13 years old. And he didn't have a lot of trauma, but he had the trauma between going back and forth to his mom and his dad, which we were half siblings. So my mom, but his dad's different. And he'd go back and forth and deal with the Catholic Church, and not saying anything against religion, but he was forced into the Catholic Church, which is traumatizing on its own.
Oh yeah.
You're constantly told you're going to burn in hell for doing this, for doing that, for doing that. Not saying anything against religion, but that was the Roman Catholic Church in Washington State for him. That's how he went through it. And he went to drugs, and he ended up getting his baby mama, who I still talk to this day. Her name, I love her. She's my sister-in-law forever. She's my sister. He started doing drugs. He got pregnant with her, and then they had another child. Mind you, they were only 16 and 17 years old. Two kids.
Yeah, that's hard.
2 kids. We move, and he's still on drugs. Now we're starting to go to Xanax. We're starting to go to crack. We're starting to go to spice. We're starting to go to this. His drugs led him to putting a gun up to his girlfriend's head, which he admitted to us later that he did that. So, of course, she left and took the kids. He comes down to South Carolina, and the one thing I'll say, I love my grandparents, but the enabling that they did is so much. Because with addicts, on one hand, you can't just tell them, no, you can't take it, and you can't just take them off all the drugs. Because if you do, they'll die. You've seen it in the hospitals. Like, they have to administer a drug to some of the overdoses, because if they take them off, that their heart's going to stop.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, for sure.
And the enabling just kind of kept happening. And after him losing his kids, putting a gun to his girlfriend's head at that time that he proposed to, and her leaving, and he lost his kids and everything like that. Next thing you know, I almost lose my brother in a meth lab. So to those parents out there, your drugs aren't just killing yourself, but those kids would have lost their father entirely. Granted, they barely know who he is now, but he would have had no way to contact them or make any more relationships, nothing. He would have gone to his deathbed if he died at that meth lab with nothing consoled. There, no comfort, no nothing. And luckily he survived, and he ended up in the top burn unit.
Thank God he survived.
He survived. He had third-degree burns all over his body, including his genitalia. I'm not going to lie about it. It was pretty gruesome.
Yeah,
it was pretty gruesome. And he cut cold turkey, believe it or not. After that, weed, whatever. But he cut cold turkey from all the other stuff. He did. And
That
now
was a
he's
wake up call
married.
for him, I bet.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
I don't know a lot of. I know some people that have been in meth lab fires.
Mhm.
That is bad when you get caught, when you're in a fire that's a meth lab fire, because it's like all the chemicals
Yep.
come on you, and then the fire too. So
Yep. And I was at this time, I was 13. I was like 13, 14 years old. And I see my brother wrapped up with fish skin, pig skin, whatever, in this bondage paper stuff. And I'm crying because I'm sitting there like, oh my God, my brother's in the hospital. He's going to die. Like, you know, this was my heart and soul. My brother's my heart and soul. So even though I wasn't his kid and I wasn't affected that way, I dealt from the drug abuse that he gave, because he would throw things, he would hit me, he would punch walls, he'd scream constant, especially if there was no drugs involved. I mean, he pawned a lot of stuff, including my grandparents' wedding bands. They had to go back to the pawn shop and buy it off for twice as much. But drugs, you are not you. I don't care what you say, and it's something that I hear from addicts all the time now, is that, oh, I'm still the same me. I'm still the same me. No. You
I'm
are not the
different
same
person
you.
than I was back then.
Exactly.
That person I was when I was an active addiction girl, there's no way I'd be on here even trying to help anybody. I was all about me.
Exactly. You are not the same person. You are not. I don't care how much you do for a community, whatever. Drugs affect you, and the scariest times are people who are on Xanax or heroin. Those are the two scariest people, in my opinion. You are not the same. And then those kids, I mean, I talked to my ex-sister-in-law the other day, and she was wondering how my brother's doing now, and I'm like, he's married, he's got another kid, he's got 2 other kids he takes care of, he's got a job, he's looking for a house, like, he's moved up. Okay, his household income right now is is 100K with his wife. I mean, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
From just not too long ago when I was 13 years old. I'm 22 now. That's when it happened.
Can I ask you a question? Seeing your brother get addicted like that, did it make you want to not use drugs, or did you get curious about it?
Seeing my brother get addicted like that made me like anxious. Like it's kind of the same thing for my aunt. It's kind of the same thing for my aunt, because hers was alcoholism. I do not like being around most people. I don't like drinking around most people. I don't really like drinking at all. I never dived into drugs. The only thing that I have is weed. I will admit that. Sorry, YouTube. I will. Okay. But that's the only thing that I've done. Past that, I stayed away from everything. I immediately offed friends. Like, as soon as they told me that they were going to go do mushrooms, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. It was the same thing because my husband's in the Marine. Well, he's not in the Marine Corps anymore, but he is a Marine.
Yeah.
And his brother was, first doing weed, which I'm like, okay, whatever. It's weed, it's a plant, whatever, okay. It's not going to do much. Then he started to go on shrooms and acid and do this. And I told my husband, I said, you need to stop him. Okay, because that's the gateway. Now he's getting into the gateway drugs.
Right.
Now he's getting to the peak of when it starts going from try this to now let's pop you with LSD to now let's pop you with the Xanny bar. To now let's pop you with some weed that has some crystal meth in it. Like, now let's lace you with fentanyl. And fentanyl's scary. Fentanyl is scary.
I'm scared.
And I'm allergic to fentanyl. So there was no, like, even when I would smoke weed with my friends and everything, I never touched theirs. Because I was always scared about the lacing stories, because I'm allergic to fentanyl. When I had my thyroid cancer, and I had to lose my thyroid at 18.
You really had thyroid cancer and you're smoking cigarettes?
I know, right?
We are going to whoop your ass.
I know. I need to stop. I know. And I know, fucking curse me in the comments. I know I smoke cigarettes. It is. That's why I'm saying it's an addiction. I do it now. And it's like, it irks me to talk about addictions. But, I found out I was allergic to fentanyl when I went through my thyroid cancer. And once I found out, and I'm like, I am so happy I didn't take a lot of the shit that my friends were trying to get me to try, because most of the shit was fentanyl. And I almost died. It was funny too. I kicked my doctor.
It's crazy out there. It's dangerous. It really is.
And so that story is because parents, family member, whoever, everyone is affected by your actions. Like, mine was a sibling, and I can only imagine what like his kids went through, and his girl at the time. I can only imagine what she went through. But the heartbreaking one, the more heartbreaking one, because yes, he's living, is that addictions, and this is going to be very sad and kind of triggering to some, and I'm sorry if it is.
That's okay.
But this is a story that does need to be shared. My aunt, I love her to bits and pieces, but when she had her first daughter got taken away from her, and that's when the alcoholism started. So it was before I was born, and it was around when my brother was probably like 6 is when it started. And the thing is that this depression, it started with like a beer a day. That's all it took, was a beer a day. Then it started to get to a pack of beer in 3 days. Then it started to get to where she could drink a pack in a day. Then it started to get to the hard liquors. And as the years progressed, so did that. And her depression, and I'm not like a full throttle feminist or whatever you want to call neo-feminism now and everything. I am a feminist in equality, and that is where it is. But my Uncle Joe, and yes, I will name drop his name because he's a total asshole. He is Catholic, he is Italian, and he is very misogynistic. And the way that he is very misogynistic is he truly believes that women should not work or should not be independent. In fact, he hates me and my mom because we wanted to go to college and work and everything like that. He hates independent women. So I'm not feminist where it's like neo-Nazi and men are cancer or everything. But in that sense, we're kind of in a class where we got to like, both parties got to work here. Okay. We're in that economics now. Okay, this ain't the 1920s anymore. We both kind of work for our families, but okay, whatever. So he basically had control of the household. Mind you, he worked a public job, but how he had control, I don't know. He first told, Emily comes out as gay. Okay, and she's a top marksman in the Northwest. And she comes out as gay, which we kind of all can figure that one. As soon as Joe finds out, tells my aunt, you can't talk to her anymore. The drinking gets worse. My Nana and my Papa were enabling it. And this is where it will get really sad soon. My Nana and Papa were enabling this. Because they're like, we'll wean her off, or we'll do this, or we'll do that, or we'll give her alcohol, we'll do this, we'll watch her, everything like that. And these years kept progressing. And so did my Uncle Joe, which I think his enabling was malicious. I don't think my Nana and Papa understood that they weren't helping.
Yeah,
they were just trying whatever they can.
Yeah.
But my uncle, 100% it was malicious intent. So this alcoholism starts getting worse. Next thing you know, she adds drugs on top of the alcoholism. She starts overdosing. Then, one day, this is how she lost her license. And this is for all the addicts that are out there. I do not care if you had 1 beer or 2 beers. Do not drink and drive. Do not do any type of drugs and drive. Do not drive if you are not sober. Super tired, not super tired, high, I do not care. Do not drive, because she almost killed her next 2 kids, which are my 2 cousins. She got in a car accident. She hit a guardrail at 80 miles per hour.
Oh, wow.
Luckily, the only injuries were scrapes, bruises, and whiplash.
Thank God.
But that car was totaled. She almost killed her 2 kids. This was also around the time that my brother got popped in a meth lab. Okay? This is around that time. So I'm already fueled on anger. And I love my cousins. And I wanted to beat the living shit out of her. My mama locked me in the car. She's like, I'll handle it because I'll beat the shit out of her.
I understand, though. I really do understand.
And my aunt, she also abused me when I was younger because of this alcoholism. She dragged me by my hair all across the house and everything, to which my mama saw that, and she dragged her by her hair up the stairs and smacked the fuck out of her. Okay? But it was the alcoholism. It wasn't her. It was the alcoholism. Now, it took me a very long time to forgive her, but I'm very happy that I did in the end. But that alcoholism, as it got worse, and the overdosing and her dying 5 times in one night in the hospital, okay, addicts, you aren't okay. There will be a time your heart stops and you got to get a defib on you, and your kids will be watching. If you have kids and you are an addict, your kids are in that hospital too. They're watching you. get defibbed, get Narcan, something. They're watching that at such a young age. I watched it. I saw it. My cousin is only a year younger than me, and my baby cousin is like 8 years younger than me. We watched that. And it killed us. But even that wasn't her wake-up call. She had no wake-up call until she got diagnosed with cancer. And she started having 7 aneurysms a year, basically. Wow. Yeah, they had to keep doing surgeries, brain surgery. She had a tumor on her shoulder that ended up this big. That was her wake-up call, was cancer. Cancer from the alcoholism. So my brother almost dies to a meth lab, and that's what his wake-up call is. And then my aunt gets cancer, and that's what her wake-up call is. And it scares me to think that way because, you know, an addict can happen at any time. My husband almost became an alcoholic.
Yeah.
His mother right now is an alcoholic, which is very sad. And I pointed out the signs.
Yeah.
But those wake-up calls, it takes you to the point of near death. And my aunt, she was at death. She was beyond the point of death, and she still drank. That's the thing, is she still drank, and it was because of the depression and trauma that she was going through, and the enabling on top of that, and the malicious intent. Well, then her final straw, which is very, very sad, is I'm 22. I got married to my husband June 11th of 2022. It's a great wedding.
Congratulations, girl.
Thank you. Yeah, that's like the ring, you know, awesome.
Hell
you know,
yeah.
gotta flaunt it, you know. But my Auntie Mandy, and I will say this, I forgave her. I did. For everything that she's done, I forgave her. And it wasn't a forgiving of, oh, you became sober now forgiving. No. She was sober for 2 years, finding a job, got her license, did the DUI thing, did all the testing for it, AA, all of it. And I mean, she kept through it because, mind you, she kept discharging herself from rehabs. I'm sorry, but unless the state gets in control of you, you can't really just force an addict to rehab because they'll just discharge themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? But she was doing really well. And she was sober. And we actually got to talk a lot. You know, she got to talk to me, and I got to know who my aunt was. I got to know who she was, my Auntie Mandy. I got to know her. I didn't know the Mandy that everybody else knew before the alcoholism. I only knew the abusive one, the alcoholic one. That's who I grew up with. We lived in the same household quite a bit. And the last 2 years were the best 2 years with her. She helped me a lot with college, with essays, with advice when it came to my relationship, with advice when it came to my family. Ooh, we all want to punch Joe for this in his Catholic ass. We all want to punch him. I'm not even going to read the chat now, but you all are going to want to hit him. She gets a lot of shit for my wedding. A new dress. She plans on getting her hair done, makeup done. She's made all these spa appointments to do herself up, you know, come to the wedding. My Uncle Joe and her were getting back together, like, you know, just buying a house together, doing it for the kids and everything. She was sober now. He was going to let her around the kids, all that good stuff, whatever. Well, she doesn't come to my wedding. And it was because my uncle told their daughter, my youngest cousin in this family, told their daughter that Mandy was going to burn in hell. Wow. To which the baby, no reason, nothing. There was no reason. He told her that
he wanted her to continue drinking because
he did. He wanted her to die. He actually tried to file all these cases. He pushed her down the stairs and she broke 3 ribs.
That happens a lot where there'll be somebody that struggles with addiction or alcoholism, and their family members have gotten so used to them being the person who needs to be fixed that when they start to get better, they don't want them to be better because then it takes the focus off of them being the savior and puts it back on them being sober. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. And he was controlling. And 100%, I believe he wanted everyone to be the victim, which my dad and I knew that he was fucking wacko for the start. Not going to lie about that. He's very wacko. We saw that because he was obviously very controlling when it came to women. All right. He did not like independent women at all. None. None. He hated them. He wanted all women beneath him, even though he was working a Publix deli job. I'm sorry. No offense to that.
Right. I used to work at the deli
But-
in Kroger.
Right. I'm like, no offense to anyone who works at a deli job, but
Right.
he wants all this control. Mind you, my Auntie Mandy was going to college to get a degree. She was getting her PhD, and he thinks he has all the control. I'm sorry. No, that's not how that works. You both are in control of the household, not one party. But so he tells my baby cousin that Mandy's going to burn in hell. She doesn't come to my wedding, right? This is a few days before my wedding. I'm going to try not to cry. So Friday rolls around, all the family from all over the U.S., including my Uncle Joe, comes to my wedding. My Uncle Joe brought my 2 cousins. I heard that Mandy wasn't coming, and I'm like, oh my God, is she going to be okay? And I was told, yeah. She was fine. Sorry. It was a little rough.
Hey, girl, I cry all the time. It's okay.
I know, it is. I hate crying because I get frustrated and angry. But Saturday happens, the wedding was great. Everyone was getting drunk at the after party and, smoking, all that good stuff, talking, having a blast. We united families, you know what I mean? Weddings are happy. My poor grandparents, man. My grandparents lived with her because she couldn't live on her own.
Yeah.
My Auntie Mandy needed a lot of help. She was getting sober and she needed a push. And my grandparents are really trying now. They weren't enabling anymore. They knew what they were doing was wrong. And so they lived in an apartment together. And my grandparents were up for my wedding. And they went back Tuesday night. And next thing you know, we get a phone call at like 9 p.m. at night when they went back to the apartments. Because we lived 3 hours away where my grandparents originally lived. We lived 3 hours away from them. And so where Mandy lived was 3 hours away. They all lived in one apartment, like one apartment thing.
Uh-huh.
They went back. And they found her gone. She had been dead since she was dead from Friday before my wedding to Tuesday. And mind you, she tried to get better. But she died from an aneurysm. And how the apartment complex didn't burn down is fucking crazy because she had a cigarette in her hand. And it looked like she was opening up the fridge and everything, the cigarette in her hand.
Uh-huh.
And what's fucked up is that my cousins will never really get to know who the non-addict Mandy was.
Yeah.
Because they only grew up with the alcoholic one like I did. And Mandy was trying, she was trying. She wanted to be at this wedding and she was dead for like 5 days. My Nana describes how her body was and that it was so cold. I went down there that night to Charleston. My husband took me. I'm like, baby, you need to take me. I may have not been like super connected to Mandy, but I need to be there for my family. My Nana, she had to be put on 3 Valium a day because of this death. 3 Valium a day.
Damn, yeah.
On top of venlafaxine and Klonopin. And she was found cold.
I'm
my
so
Nana,
sorry.
yeah, my Nana, I was hugging her and she was just talking to me on how cold she was. How she was basically just like ice. She was so solid, like not even flexible. She was just so solid.
Yeah.
My dad was explaining to me how it looked like a fucking crime scene from all the bloody tissues everywhere, and you could see Mandy's freak out because she knew she was dying. And the reason why I share these 2 stories is because with all you recovering addicts out there who think that it might just be okay to go ahead and take another drink of beer, or take another hit off of a crack pipe, all it takes is just that one mistake to end up getting cancer or something, and then you're dead.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. You can be the loneliest person in the world, but something cares about you, even if it's a fucking dog. And I'm not telling you need to live for these people, but addiction even though most addictions are caused by traumas and force and everything like that, are also selfish.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
And they're also selfish because, yes, it's hard to talk about problems, but instead of facing them, most people are running away from them and picking out their own escape. My Auntie Mandy, for her, it was too late. You know how old she was?
No, how old was she?
She was like 45 years old.
Oh, yeah, I'm 40. So she
Yeah,
was young.
She was 45. She was an alcoholic for over 20 years. And that's what it did to her. And I share these stories because of that. It took my brother almost dying in a meth lab and her having all this cancer and then end up dying in the aftermath. She was 70 pounds and like 5'3".
Damn, she was tiny.
She was tiny. We knew she wasn't going to live long, but it was the way that it happened that sucks.
I'm so sorry. Like, for real, that is so tragic.
Right. And to the people that like look at these addicts and just go, oh, they're disgusting and don't want to help them, those people, I swear, are the worst, because my Uncle Joe did that. He didn't help Mandy. He let her die. He let her get worse. My grandparents were trying. They were trying. They were trying to wean her off of the liquor and take her to beer. Even though they were initially enabling, they were trying to do something.
Absolutely.
My Uncle Joe did not. My Uncle Joe did not. He did not care. Okay? Addicts are not trash. I understand addicts can be abusive domestically, like physically, sexually. I get that. They need help just as much as somebody with fucking PTSD does, and my dad will tell you that. He served in a war. They need just as much help. My brother used to be fucking smart, and the drugs literally fried his brain, like the commercial from the 80s of this is your brain and this is your brain on drugs. Literally fried his brains. He does not think he is not my brother like that anymore. He's still my brother, and granted, he's a good person now, but he used to be so smart. He was going into basketball, and he ruined his dreams because he went to drugs. Lost his kids, almost died. My Auntie Mandy dies. Help those around you and learn the difference between enabling and helping. Help those people, because they may die tomorrow, and then you end up living with that. My Nana and my Papa still do, because they still think it's their fault.
Oh no,
And
it's not their fault.
It's not.
Yeah, it's really difficult, especially for, I feel like, the older generation of people to not enable. Like my mom, she's like one of those moms that does not enable. Whenever I started using, she kicked me out. I wasn't allowed to move back in unless I got sober, and she held me to that. You know what I mean? But like my husband's parents, they're older than my mom and dad, and they were different. Like, they were enablers, and they didn't realize that they were doing that, but they were. You know what I mean? And so basically, when you enable somebody, you're basically enabling them into their deathbed. You know,
right?
And so it could be anything. It could be like giving them money, or a ride to the drug dealer's house, or just anything that's going to contribute to them using and drinking is not healthy.
Exactly. And my grandparents didn't realize they're really enabling.
Yeah.
They thought that they were helping because of her alcoholism was so bad. When it came to her liver, she could not just go off of alcohol entirely. She had pancreatitis and she had liver failure.
Yeah.
So she could not just be taken off of alcohol. But they still enabled her by giving her that option of, here's a 24-pack of beer, instead of just going to her house and giving her one a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even when she lived with them, that's how it started at first. And my mom said, no, you need to cut it. You need to stop. There's no limiting on beer anymore. We need to stop. And she needs to get something else, like meds or something, to control her liver and pancreas and all that. She needs to take them.
Yeah.
And that's what worked. Sober for 2 years. Just met her daughter's boyfriend.
Right? You're 22? Yep. You have got a great head on your shoulders, girl. Like, I'm so happy to hear how smart you are. Like, very smart, and understanding that people that struggle with addiction need help, but don't enable. But help them with a stern assertiveness.
Tough love.
Yeah.
Tough
You're
love.
doing great though. And when you have your own kids, they're going to be smart kids for real, because you got a good head on your shoulders.
I sure hope so. But yeah, that's why I wanted to share those stories. I mean, it's not once an addict, always an addict. Don't ever
I
think like
totally
that.
agree.
You
I
can
say that
move.
too. You can change. You don't have to live like that no more.
Exactly.
You don't have to
And
carry that title with you through recovery.
right. And you're not just changing for your kids. This will be the last thing I say. Then you can throw me off and maybe we'll get Cece back. Maybe. But this is the last thing I'll say. You are not recovering for anyone else in this world. I don't care if you have just kids or anything. Your top reasoning, call it selfish, your top reasoning needs to be you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you are the connection to your kids. You are the connection to being a daughter or son, whatever you are to your parents. You are the connection. Your addiction is on you. And your recovery should be because you want to change and you know that you need to change. Because if you die, that's parents without a father or mother. You die, that's a mother and father without a daughter. You die, that's a sibling without a brother or sister. Change for yourself, not just for anybody else in the world who tells you, hey, you need to change. No, you need to want that, and you need to need that and crave that change because you don't want to be stuck.
Amen,
And
sister.
you can fucking do it. Don't get to a meth lab though. Like, don't do that.
No.
Don't go up in a meth lab and then make the choice. Let's not do that. Change before that. You can do it. You can. I promise you that.
Man, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing and talking so openly with all of us. And I would love, if you ever want to come up here with me again, just shoot me a text. You know how to get a hold of me. I would love to have you on again to talk, because I was, that's what I got addicted to the most was methamphetamine. So I have so much to say about meth. So if you ever want to come on and just we could talk about meth and how it affects, how it affected your brother and how it affected me. Anytime, I would love to have you on. Thank you so much.
Of course. And no, thank you for letting me have a voice. That's the most I could ask for.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay.
You're
Text
welcome.
me later, okay?
Promise. Bye-bye.
All right, babe. See you later. Oh my gosh. Y'all are so awesome. Like every person who has came on today has brought something different to the live that has just been, I feel like I have learned so much. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we got to hear from the child of an addict. Then we got to hear from Rob, somebody who struggles with addiction, Cece, who struggles with addiction, Oh Hey, who has a brother and an aunt who struggled with addiction. And so we didn't just get to see it from the kids' point of view, but we've got to see it from several different points of view. I wish I could stay on here and go live forever. I don't know where Cece's at. She's not in here anymore. I'm fixing to text her. But if you guys enjoyed this live stream today, what I'll do is from now on at 3:45, I will go live here on YouTube and Facebook, and you guys can come up and talk just like we did today for, an hour and a half or so, almost 2 hours. And I would love to do that with you guys. So let's do this. Tomorrow I'll be here 3:45 Central Standard Time. This video is going to go up. If you want to get a hold of me, you can message me on DMs or text message me. If you are like, hey, Nicole, I really want to be able to come on and talk tomorrow. Can I get a spot so that way I don't get forgotten about? Okay. And I'll make sure that I get y'all all lined up to where y'all each get a spot. And thank you for everybody being mindful that, some of us are addicts. Some of us are loved ones of addicts. Some of us are just bystanders, right? But I really appreciate everybody being supportive and understanding and kind and respectful in the chat. And I feel like this went great, you guys. This was a great first live stream, mixing everybody together. I was scared it might be volatile, because we got the addicts and then the non-addicts and then the kids of the addicts and then the parents of the addicts. I was a little nervous, but it went great, man. You're welcome anytime. You can come up here and share anytime. Sunny, thank you so much for coming up and sharing. Like, both of you guys did so freaking amazing. It takes a lot of balls to come up here and share in front of everybody. So thank you so much. And just like Sunny did, you guys, if you want to come up tomorrow and you're afraid to show your face, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
That's my little boy, Nate. If you're afraid to come up and share, all you have to do is put the screen like Sunny did, and you don't have to show your face. Okay, you do not have to do that. I thought that was Sunny. You did a great job with that. That's perfect, and that way you can still keep your be anonymous, but also get to share at the same time. So let's plan it for tomorrow, 3:45 Central Standard Time. I'll put a reminder up on the community tab on YouTube and here on Facebook. Okay, guys? Denise, I'm proud of you, girl. Good job.
Are you about to end it?
Yep, I'm about to end it. Nate's over here chomping at the bit, you guys. He wants my computer. Love you, Rob. I love all of you guys. Rachel, Wendy, Maddie, everybody that came here to support and hang out with us today. Thank you so much, like I said, for being understanding and respectful and kind. Like, I love this, you guys. So tomorrow, same time, same place, we're going to do a mixture. Okay, so if you are the loved one of an addict, the child of an addict yourself, a best friend of an addict, anything, I want all walks of life where addiction has touched your life to be able to come up here and share and not be afraid to do that. Okay, so thank you guys so much, and I'll see y'all tomorrow, 3:45 p.m. Central Standard Time.